We'd had an approach from ABBA and communications with them. They'd built the studio and they really wanted to put it on the map. So they offered us a great deal, and we in turn offered them a great deal. And we went to Stockholm. The worst thing about it was that we had a great deal and we went there, but we went in the winter. And although the studio itself was remarkable at the time, going to and from it was probably one of the worst experiences ever. It was probably like Napoleon's return from Moscow, the Russian campaign gone wrong. And so you had to drink several hits of schnapps before you could actually even get off out of the hotel. It was so cold. But yeah, experiments in sound, basically. And I think the drum sound on In Through the Outdoor was really phenomenal.
You did a lot of work on In Through the Outdoor, recorded in my hometown, Stockholm.
Right. Yeah.
Wasn't it particularly bad at the time?
It was probably, yes, it probably rose to a head. But the upshot was that we put out a good album of the people who were there doing it. You know, Robert and I were at rehearsals first.
Me and Jonesy were always there before the others.
We were up, and so we put them down, didn't we? I mean, but I mean, it's always been the way of the band, sort of whoever gets it. It's first come, first served, really, as far as the numbers are concerned.
Yeah, if Jimmy gets to the rehearsal place first, the next album will go a totally different way. And that's about it, really.
Fortunately, I'd just taken delivery of this big Yamaha organ synthesizer thing. I mean, it was 3 keyboards and full pedal board. And so, as is always the way with me, I was very inspired with this new instrument. So I just started writing stuff, and I had it delivered to the rehearsal rooms, and I was there early playing it.
Yeah.
And then Robert turned up next, and by the time Bonzo and Jimmy had turned up, we kind of finished the album, or not written most of the album. It was really done before we went into the studio, and then we went to the studio and put it down, but not much changed from the rehearsal to the studio. Whereas normally the writing process with Led Zeppelin is that an idea would start with any member of the band, perhaps, and then everybody would work on that and became Zeppelin property, as it were.
Thing called Carouselambra, which is a peculiar title, I suppose, really. It got slammed in the British press for being, once again, that tired old mystical feel, but what it is in fact an extended piece with John Paul doing a lot of the kind of work on it, well, not a lot of the kind of work, but like dictating the movement of the thing. It's another one of those nice little hidden things where one day the person who it's all about will go, oh my God, is it really like that, you know? It's a long piece and it's an interesting piece in a way, and that's one of the good things really. It's it's not like Achilles' Last Stand, which I really love, but it contains some of the majesty that was in that song. Mm-hmm. I mean, Achilles' Last Stand was basically about travels and dreams and wishes and positivity, whereas this is like a retrospect of a period of time and a few characters. So Carouselambra is one of the more lengthy bits that we do.
The epic indeed. A three-part suite, a trilogy of moments, poetry in motion. John Paul Jones delivers a wild frenzy of synthesizer leads, futuristic soundscapes and pulsating rhythm bass lines. A progressive suite and a cinematic experience for the listener. Despite being heavily associated with this iconic guitar, this is the only studio track that features Jimmy's famous Gibson EDS 1275. Previous recordings had Jimmy using a Fender Electric 12-string. Carouselambra gave the double-neck guitar a space to shine. Those long chord openers had Page revisiting a similar idea found, and the song remains the same. Carouselambra's intro features an A-minor sequence that is basically 10 years gone in reverse. There's a sense of urgency and a revolving sound in this carousel number, which could explain the song's title, as British musicians refer to songs as numbers, and they love a play on words. Bonham's groove and Phil's and Hans Jones' percussive keyboard work. In terms of composition, it sums Led Zeppelin's story of recent years in 3 parts like a symphony. First movement. Fanfare for the rock star men, adulation and destruction of their touring life. The search for excitement, fans await their heroes, expectations high. The music theme acts like a big announcement, the landing of the aircraft, twirling non-stop moving across the map, Led Zeppelin searching for another place to play. Plant describes the colorful and at the same time grim vibes of the majestic fishbowl microcosmos of excess. Sisters of the Wayside bide their time in quiet peace, await their place within the ring of calm. Still stand to turn in seconds of release, await the call they know may never come. In times of lightness, no intruder dared upon to jeopardize the course, upset the run. And always joy and hands were raised toward the sun, as love in the halls of plenty overrun. Second movement. An arpeggio instrumental leads us into the second part of the song, a tired riff, a cry for help. This is Robert at his most honest regarding the incidents from 1977 and what became inevitable. It's no coincidence that Jimmy buried the vocals when mixing the album, especially on this song. Where was your word? Where did you go? Where was your helping? Where was your bow? Dull as the armor, cold as the day. Hard was the journey, dark was the way. I heard the word, I couldn't stay. I couldn't stand it another day. An upbeat tempo with electronic textures representing present-day Zeppelin in 1978, embracing the sounds of now. In an almost prophetic way, Robert Plant describes his final days with the band. He had a foot outside the door while fronting Zeppelin in through the outdoor. Touched by the timely coming, roused from the keeper's sleep, release the grip, throw down the key. Held now within the knowing, rest now within the peace. Take of the fruit, but guard the seed. They had to stay, held now within the knowing, rest now within the peace. Take off the fruit, but guard the seed.
I'm going to crawl. It's got nothing to do with carpet burns or anything like that. In the 60s there was a great kind of movement with Atlantic Records and a lot of little independent record companies. The first thing that Wilson Pickett ever did, It's Too Late.
Yes.
You know, and all those great slow R&B, but just going into soul. So what I thought, I wanted to just do something a little bit like that, but a little bit kind of tongue-in-cheek too. God forbid that it should be taken seriously. And so, like, I mean, the lyrics are really mundane. It's really like, she's the apple of my eye vibe, you know. But it's a great atmosphere on it. Really good atmosphere. And the only thing that's missing is the horn section, because Jonesy couldn't learn how to play horns in time, you know. But it's great. I love that. It's really good and it's very moody.
Robert Plant's scream in the closing moments says it all. The band crawled their way out of despair into the unknown sights of a new decade. The fitting coda as if they felt the end was near, or maybe they hoped their brotherhood would never die.
Hello everyone, I hope you're doing well. I just recorded a special musical tribute that I want to share with you guys. As you know, sessions for the album ended up circulating as a bootleg recording that featured Bonham's isolated drum tracks. While most of his grooves are recognizable, there is one song that remains untitled. It appears to be taken from a synth-based number, but it doesn't sound like anything on the final mix for Into the Outdoor. Using the intro and main groove, I wrote a special tribute for the band, adding guitar layers over Bonzo's drums. Inspired by Jimmy's latter-day style, this is my take on the lost song recorded at Polar Studios. I laid down the bass track first, and then built the backing track so all guitar layers could be recorded on camera. I know this has been done before, but with utmost respect for Led Zeppelin, I hope you enjoy this guitar layer experiment. As always, thank you for watching, please subscribe, and stay tuned for episode 7 and the events of 1980, a year of hope, expectations, and tragedy. Bye bye.